So for those of you who remember in the past, I've covered fragrances from the brand Michael Malul on my channel. I've done Visionaire, I've done Visionaire Midnight Blue, and one thing that I can say about both of them is they are some of the most versatile fragrances the brand has ever put out. San Lucas is a good one too. Here we have a brand new fragrance. This one is called Visionaire Indigo. The same thing can be said about this one. Really fresh, really inviting, super high compliment factor. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this brand new release, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode on the brand new fragrance by Michael Malul, this one is called Visionaire Indigo. I do want to start things off by saying that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload future videos to this channel, and I upload on a daily basis. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you took something of value from today's episode. So of course, when it comes to the brand Michael Malul, they have a lot of great fragrances. Everything from their Couture line, they have Spice, they have a lot of really wonderful releases, Santorini being another one that I've covered on my channel. And I've actually reviewed a bunch of Michael Malul fragrances, and it seems like as soon as I was done reviewing one of them, I discovered another and another. And that's because the brand has been pretty consistent in putting out new fragrances. Now here is one that has some aquatic tones to it, but it also has some darker woodsy nuances in the base that make it not just a summer fragrance. So of course we have a bunch of citrus. We have pomelo, lemon, ocean waters, pineapple, and pear. But if you fast forward to the dry down, we have notes like amber, cedar, musk, and sandalwood. So this is a very rich, complex, and compliment-getting fragrance. I'm excited to talk to you about the smell. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation. As I mentioned before, there is this ocean waters accord in the opening, and you are also going to get a bit of that citrus in here. So the pomelo and some of those citrus components really open up the composition, and it's really bright and zesty. Now, it's not overly strong in any one citric direction. There are certain fragrances out there you can smell distinctly the lemon or the bergamot or the neroli or the orange blossom or whatever. This just has this general citrusy freshness, which is really appealing. And as soon as you smell it, you're going to be like, yep, this is going to be a compliment getter. This is a safe Swiss Army knife, compliment getting, mass appealing type of a fragrance. Now, to remind you, we also have pineapple and pear. So you have this juicy, fruity duality, and the pineapple is not overly tart or overly saccharine, and the pear has a pretty interesting influence in this fragrance as well. There are fragrances out there like Jimmy Choo for Her that smell explicitly feminine, and that has a lot of pear. That's not what's happening in here. The pear is very subtle. It kind of has like this ambrette personality about it, which combines with the musk that you're going to find in the base too. Very clean. I didn't mention any of the heart notes, but in the heart you have tea leaf and orange blossom. Now you take that ocean waters accord, which is very fresh, not too salty, and you combine it with that tea leaf note, and it's a very calm, tranquil, and meditative fragrance. So the citrus is a really nice complement to the tea leaf, so it opens up very citrusy and a little subtle, and very much so on the fresh and aquatic side of things, without smelling salty or like an ambroxan overdose, which tends to happen in some fragrances, right? But in the dry down, you do get some of those woodsy tones that start to come through that also convey to you that they mean business. And what I mean by that is when you smell this one, you know that the longevity is not going to be a slouch. There's a lot of citrus-based fragrances out there where unfortunately they last 5 hours, 6 hours, some even worse. This one actually got me upwards of 7 or 8 hours, where given the personality, that's interesting and that's really impressive, right? So in the base, just to reiterate, you have amber, cedar, musk, and sandalwood. In terms of the amber, I don't get a resinous profile from it. I don't get a richly balsamic base, and I certainly don't get any vanilla. It's a very dry, professional, elegant, gentlemanly kind of a fragrance, but it's one that can be dressed up or dressed down. So even as I'm smelling it now, it's very calm, it's very subdued, it's not too animated or too, rambunctious or anything like that. It does have this casual personality, but if you smell somebody who's wearing this and they're wearing a really nice suit, this fragrance would be a perfect complement to that as well, which is why I say I find this to be really versatile. And I love how they took the Visionair line, or the name if you will, and they've expanded it into a slightly different territory. And somebody had asked me online, does this kind of convey a bit of an indigo hue? And I would say with that slight dry amber and the tea leaf and the orange blossom, like, yeah, I could kind of see that. It has a really interesting personality where it kind of conveys that synesthesia about it. So very well done. Visionair Indigo, I think, is a solid addition to the lineup. I am very satisfied with this acquisition, and despite the fact that I think this one does incredibly well, or would do incredibly well in the hotter weather, there's something about it very refined, very professional smelling. I'll be wearing this one to work as well. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I find this to be pretty unique. I like how they incorporated a lot of notes that we all have familiarity with: the pineapple, the musk, the amber, so on and so forth. But in terms of striking the right balance, there's never too much pineapple, there's never too sweet of an amber, there's never too floral of an orange blossom. They're utilized in such a way where it kind of conveys like this mass appealing, gentlemanly, natural smelling, non-generic, compliment getting composition. And I really admire that. Longevity, 8 hours. Projection, great for the first hour of application, a little bit beyond an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent at the 5-hour mark. It became a skin scent at the 7 to 8 hour mark. Versatility, great. A little bit masculine leaning, and I think a lot of people would argue that, but I do find this one to be dressed up, dressed down. Anybody of any age can wear this one, and I think this one would really shine in the hotter weather, but if you're wearing it indoors, wear it whenever you want, of course. In terms of the presentation, I love it. The pressurized atomizer, and I think the bottle looks so sexy. It kind of reminds me of the Narciso Rodriguez bottles where they're kind of colored from the inside, and I mean, you can tell that the brand has upgraded their hardware as well, so making a lot of really good moves. My final verdict on this fragrance is it's a great smelling fragrance, incredibly versatile. You can dress it up or dress it down. A lot of really interesting components in here, and you have this fruity freshness with a little bit of an aquatic tonality that also gives you sustenance and longevity on account of the woods, the musk, and the amber. Check it out if you can. I'm going to leave all of the information down below to where you can find it on the website. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you appreciated this review, and I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. Hit the bell icon and click where it says enable all notifications. This way, whenever I do publish these videos to the channel, they will be sent directly to your feed. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.